then it's just her head hanging.
Yo, when I saw it, I said the same thing. I was like, wait, what the fuck is that? Like, holy shit, that's the lady with her fucking bad neck.
Her neck is like, her face is like right here. That was so, it always gets me.
Okay, let's save some time because that's my scariest moment right there. When she ran up to, and the thing is, you saw from far coming in. So that, like JR said, like at first you don't get scared. You're like, what is that? You're looking, but as it gets closer, you see her head's like upside down, and so you can see her say, "Help! We're being tortured! Help!"
Yeah.
Oh, bro. What's up, horror fiends? It's your boy Ricky Grimes. I'm back with my two friends here. This is Three Corners of Horror. Today's video is going to be really special. We got a very special guest. Please welcome Tasha. How you doing, Tasha? What's up?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first? What makes you awesome?
Man, I don't know if we have enough time for that. Like that. So I started out like trying to get into the writing community and everything, and ran into Angel from Voices of the Mausoleum, and we did a video here and there, and then we decided to do a podcast, and then she officially asked me to be co-host for the channel. So she thinks I'm awesome, I guess. I keep waiting for her to change her mind. She says she's not gonna. So yeah, I've been digging more into it and getting more into horror, and it's been a blast, like meeting new people.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, we met you through Angel. We did her show together, her zombie survival.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Awesome, and of course we got the man JR. What's up, brother?
Oh man, finally get to talk about the movie that I've been talking to you about for a while, and glad you got to see it. Yeah. Terrified, or is it pacified?
Oh,
have to find out.
as you can see, Joe isn't here today, but he'll be joining us next week. But right now, we are going to discuss Terrified. This movie is a Shudder exclusive, and oh boy, do I have a lot of questions. I hope these two can definitely help shed that light. We're going to start with Tasha. Initial thoughts when you first saw this film. What did you think about it? And, anything else you want to bring up upon your first viewing?
So from the description, I thought it was going to be like a typical paranormal kind of jam. I started thinking along the lines of like every paranormal movie I've seen. I'm like, okay, what directions could they go in? How is it going to work out? Is it going to be a ghost? Is it going to be like somebody that got murdered? Demon possession, like that kind of thing. And I was very pleasantly surprised when they just like completely tipped that on its head, and that was not the case at all. But they start out with a bang, like they right out of the gate. They don't waste any time, which is great because I'm not a huge slow burn person. I kind of struggle with that sometimes. So yeah, there was no waiting for things to hit the fan.
Especially for me, because I think within the first minute, the guy talked about running over a dog or something. Like, oh no, what's going on?
Dog's alive. I'm like,
but the dog lived. The dog lived. Oh wait, now they think about it, the dog lived, but did the dog come back? Like,
oh,
remember,
I don't know.
Let's not jump ahead. We'll get into that. JR, your first initial thoughts, my friend.
I mean, just like Tasha said, this movie started with a bang, literally. With the sound of a bang too, but yeah, like I mean, there's been so many paranormal films that sometimes you kind of go in expecting the same old story, and yeah, this one didn't hold back. This one threw basically the kitchen sink at you. I mean, this movie, I enjoyed it because I went in not knowing anything about it, and the first time I watched it, I let you know right away, yo, Rick, you got to watch this movie, man. And then the second time I watched, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this movie it's just crazy. And the fact that, like, one of the main characters in the film is Officer Funes, which is played by Maximiliano Gion. Hopefully I got your name right. But his character was so good in this movie.
Yeah.
And what he went through, I mean, Jesus Christ, a grown man looking under his bed. But overall, I mean, there were plenty of scary moments for all. I mean, if you're a fan of jump scares, this movie will get you.
I like the fact that Fuentes, he was the main character essentially, but he was afraid.
Yes.
He didn't run into, running and gunning or anything like that. He was, scared shitless, pretty much. That's the way I would react to things. And he was unhealthy, of course. He had a heart condition, right?
Heart condition.
Yeah.
He actually had suffered a heart attack too.
He did he did. I mean, God, dog, he survived it too.
Poor guy.
Poor dude's just trying to retire, and that's
My initial thoughts were the same though. Right off the bat, I was hooked. And I like the way the film transitioned from one small set of characters. Then we got to know the neighbor a little bit. Then we get the main set of characters. So it all kind of like unraveled slowly. And from there, it just didn't let on. I love that about the film. So good job on that. I will say though, the subtitles did not match the language. I understand the Spanish, so I don't really read much when I don't have to. But when I read, I'm like, that's not what he said. So I don't know who did the subtitles for this one, but they did not match at all. But you get the same point though, so you got the point across. All right, so Tasha, tell us. Let's talk about this favorite moment in the film, because this movie had a lot of good moments in it. It's hard to pinpoint it, and when I thought about this question, I knew it was going to be a tough one. So
yeah.
What you got?
I don't even. Man, I've been trying to do this for like 2 days, and like between that and the scariest one, like I'm on the struggle bus, man.
Yeah, I thought about both those. Like I kept flipping.
I think I would have to say probably when we start getting the police more involved and they walk into the apartment and they find, I can't remember what his name was, the boy, when they find his body at the table.
Mucho. That's what the little paper said on his room.
He's just chilling with like a bowl of cereal and a glass of milk.
Man, that was
10 days decomposed. And you spend that whole scene like waiting for something to happen. And he's just perfectly still, which I think was like the best way to do that, because they build all that anticipation. And then when he does finally move, the lights are off, so you don't even get to actually see him move. So, well, until his friend comes down to the door and he sees him. That poor kid, nightmares for life, man.
that scene, to jump on there real quick, when they told Fuentes, right? That's his name, Fuentes.
Yeah.
When he went in there, he told Giano, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
He said, I got to show you something. And when he showed the wife or the mother, I'm sorry, she was like in this like weird state. I thought that's what he wanted to show her. But when he said, listen, I saw the kid's funeral, I went to the wake. Then they do the turn, and then they show the kids just sitting at the table as a corpse. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, it was bad. And then when they finally pan outside and you see like the handprints and the footprints all over the walls and everything, man, just gave me chills.
Yeah. What about you, GR?
To jump off that scene though,
that's a good scene.
The fact that Giano grabs a spoon and puts it underneath his nose,
just breathing.
And they could have cut that scene short, and the fact that they didn't was so good that they just let the surreal hit you. I mean, there's two cops who are looking at a dead kid who's just sitting there.
They let it breathe. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, my favorite moment was when we start going a little bit more deep, and you got Funes, him and Gianna go into the house, and then Funes gets the phone call from his buddy. He goes, "Where are you? Where are you?" And he's looking for him. It was like a little dress or something. And his buddy's like stuck inside there, like talking to him. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
What the hell? I mean,
yeah.
Was that what his eyes were gouged?
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, I'm like, oh my God. No, the eyes gouging was towards the end. This is the other guy.
What guy?
This is the other guy that went missing. And he was just literally inside because he went to like open the drawer or something, and then his face was like right there inside looking at him. Because remember
when
he
rips the cabinet apart?
Yes, because prior to that, it was like underneath it where you see the feet like slip right in, and all of a sudden you see like two. I mean, that whole scene was awesome because once again you have these cops and freaking Funes, man. That guy went through so much hell. I mean,
he did.
For what he went through in his house. I mean, I agree. There was so many moments that you could take in this film. You're like, wow, this is just amazing. But I just like that whole feel where like Funes knows he was so over his head and
Mhm.
he didn't want to give up. And I'm sorry, man. I was like, look, I'm retiring right now. I'm just gonna
Right.
I'm out.
The movie
But
felt real fresh too. Yeah, like I think Tasha mentioned that you hadn't seen anything like this, like
No.
with this tone.
No, the scare elements were so good.
Yeah.
The cinematography.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there was all stuff you haven't really seen before. You know, it wasn't like jump scares. You know, it was more like just the imagery. It's the scary imagery and like it's the sense of the unknown as well. That fear of the unknown. You don't know what the hell is going on at all. Like even I've seen it a couple times. Like I said, I still got questions, and I don't mind. I love that.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It'll always work for every film, but for this film, it works. I like that.
Yes.
And I think they did such a good job building the characters and everything. You're so invested in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like that it contributes so much to it because you're like, oh my God, like what's happening to these people? And I love good characters. It's like my favorite thing.
I mean, there's just one more scene. I'm sorry to jump in.
No, go for it.
I want to add is the one where Giano's across the street. And he goes, oh, I see him through the window. But it's funny because I go like this, he's not there. I go like this, I go like this, he's not there. He went like that, he's like right in front of him.
Yeah.
That was so amazing.
I like that character. I like, you know what? I also like Juan. I wish Joe was here because I was gonna be like, Joe, you got a guy named that. But Juan was the first guy, the husband. Yeah, like he was mad at his boy Walter.
That poor dude. I did like at the beginning because I feel like especially in movies, you know, a guy comes home from work and his wife is like, I heard voices coming out of the kitchen sink, and he's gonna be like, And he actually like went to the kitchen sink and was trying to recreate it. Like I appreciated that he gave her credit and didn't just like write her off as crazy.
Well, the baby too, when she said, oh, what did you hear? Oh, like somebody wants to kill me. Yeah. If somebody, if I hear that, man, I'm out the house, man. Oh man,
right? Okay, let's go to bed. No, let's not.
But think about how the sequence started, though. Yeah. He comes home and he's like, "Where's dinner?" She was, "Oh, I didn't cook." And he's just like looking around.
He's looking around. Yeah, he noticed.
But it's still early.
we could eat out. He said, "Take out or something," right?
Yeah. Like, oh, I heard voices. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. If I heard that, I'm like, all right, so why don't we just go eat out? We'll just leave the house for right now, you know? But yeah, I mean,
they jumped right in. That was in the first 5 minutes of the film. Yes. And just like that, you're invested. Like one of my favorite moments when Walter was when we saw his point of view, right? It was switched to him, and his bed is shaking and moving, and then you see somebody crawl out of it, but he don't see him yet. He hides under the sheet, right? And then he peeks out, and all of a sudden, you see his legs like scoot off. Yo, that shit freaked me out. I used to have nightmares like that. Like when I was a kid, I would be scared of my covers. I would be afraid to see anything moving around. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, that was brilliant!" Like that scene, it's so subtle. It wasn't too flashy or anything, but that little bit of like all you saw was his legs run off. That was cool. That's probably my favorite moment because it was the way it was done and shot. Really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, what made that moment great is they went away from the cliche way mostly like directors would have done that portion. They would actually zoomed in under the bed, and they didn't. The minute and think about the timing of it. I mean, I don't know how many takes they did on this, but when he looks down, the minute he pulls his hand up, his hand is still on there, and then you see the face slowly show itself. I'm like, oh my god, that was so cool. I love the way they did that portion, man.
Scary, isn't it?
It was brutal, man.
Speaking of scary, Tasha, what's the scariest moment for you now? They could go hand in hand. You could have the same answer, but
it's tough because the first time I'm very jumpy. So the first time I jumped was when the first time you see it under the bed. That got me. But the biggest one, like JR said, when he's in the window and he's like back and forth, and then all of a sudden he's right there.
He's right there.
And then after that, like it just kept coming. Like my dog, every time I jumped, it scared him, and he finally got sick of me and walked into the other room. He was like, "I'm not doing this anymore." So I think I would probably have to go with when Walter gets his camera and he's like looking at it, watching it, trying to figure out what's going on. And the like armoire wardrobe that he had just looked in.
Yep.
that's like coming up behind him and grabs him.
He saw the reflection on the pistol.
Yeah.
And that
And
was
I mean,
cool.
anything just with the body type that they created for that just automatically just creeps me out. So I mean that like when he woke up and his place was trashed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Like, I
stuff's
can't
still
even-
moving. Stuff is still moving.
I can't even imagine like what my reaction would be waking up to that.
Oh,
I would lose my mind.
How about this one? I just thought about this now. When the Rosenthal is his name?
Oh yeah.
The guy with from real quick. This I don't think he was Spanish, right? That
I don't think so.
because he spoke worse Spanish than I do. Like that was the worst Spanish speaker. But the scene where he got stabbed with the knife, and then he was like, "Shh, you're sucking the blood." It's like, you're sucking the blood.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? And I was like, what is this?
It sets you up, and then they're like trying to be all stealthy about opening the doors and stuff, and you're like, what the hell is about to pop out of this cupboard? And then you never see it.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, they do a lot of build up to in this film too.
Yeah.
How about you, JR? What scared you, man? If anything does scare you.
This is the one thing that no matter how many times I watch this movie, it always gets me. So you have this scene where Funes is in the apartment, and Maura Albrecht, who's played by Elvira Neto, is like basically like their version of Elizabeth Warren.
That's exactly the vibes I got, bro.
Yeah, she's sitting in front of the crack, talking to whatever is on the other side of the crack, which you see the eyes. I mean, that was awesome. And then the fact that Funes is starting to freak out more. She's like, no, you have to talk to it. No, it's gonna be. And then it just grabs her and pulls her in and snaps her neck.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And then he runs to the car. He's sitting there smoking a cigarette, just like freaking out. And you see it. You see something coming to the car. Like, what the hell is that? And then it's just her head hanging.
Yo, when I
She
saw
always
it, I
gets
said the
me.
same thing. I was like, wait, what the fuck is that? Like, holy shit, that's the lady with her fucking bad neck.
And her neck is like, her face is like right here. That was so. It always gets me.
Okay, let's save some time because that's my scariest moment right there.
Yeah.
When she ran up to, and the thing is, you saw from far coming in. So like JR said, like at first you don't get scared. You're like, what is that? You're looking, but as it gets closer, you see her head's like upside down, and so you can see her say, "Help! We're being tortured! Help!"
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
I think that raised one of the biggest questions for me. Like, does that mean that there was potential for them to be saved somehow? Because she talks about them being tortured, but you'd think at that point, like they're well and dead. Like, I mean, her neck obviously is not supporting the way it should be.
Yeah. So what's going on there though? So what are these creatures that they're in between dimensions here? Like, did they explain that at all? Like
briefly, they didn't really get into depth with it. They just explained something with that house, that whoever lived in that house before explained that this house is like a doorway to both sides.
3 houses though. So
yeah,
each house had.
I think it was a whole neighborhood. To be honest,
when I was because when the kid came back as a corpse, I'm like, what's that got to do with the house now? Like, and now
I think it's in the whole neighborhood.
Because again, going back to the cat, when he's with the dog, when they ran over the dog and they said they thought it was dead, they're about to bury it, but he was alive. I'm thinking, wow. Now, just here, I thought about that. The dog probably came back to life too. You know?
Yeah, because I think they said that they like collected in the water source. So I'm guessing that, it would have been able to affect the whole neighborhood through.
Oh, that would explain the pipes. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Good call.
So like whatever, wherever the dog has been drinking from, getting its water from. And
oh, yes.
No, I mean, this is what I think I like about this movie. This movie had a lot of scare elements that remind you of Asian horror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the corpses under the bed, the things in closets all over the place, that's a lot of Asian element horror. And the fact that here you have a paranormal movie that is not secluded to one house, it's actually multiple houses. That's and the fact that they can actually come out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie was, I tell you this, I'm glad they didn't make a part 2. Just don't.
No, keep it the way it is.
Keep it the way this movie is.
I don't think they could have lived up to it with the second one.
Because what happens is it's gonna be like Hell House, right? I love Hell House, the first one. But when the sequels come out, it explains what the hell is going on, and it just takes away from it. Not that the sequels are bad; they're enjoyable, but I don't. The less you know, the better it is. I don't want to know everything.
Yeah. You lose the mystery.
You lose the mystery. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this film here, I don't know. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time trying to figure out what was going on until the very end. I still don't know what was going on. And again, usually I hate stuff like that, but for this film, and I actually want to go back and watch it again now because Tasha and GR, both you guys brought up points I missed. Now it makes a little bit more sense, and I want to go see it to see if it.
Hold on, though. That ending was perfect. I'm sorry, that was a perfect ending.
I liked it when he was like, "Oh, he came in with you."
Yeah,
his face don't look like that. He's burnt. He's right there, and they're all looking back. He's right there. Then the chair moves a little bit. I'm like, oh,
perfect. And hurtling at your face.
That was the only jump scare, really, when the chair flew to the screen. Really, and
hold on. How come we're not talking about one main scary moment in this film? The opening sequence.
Oh, what you mean with the wife?
I know.
Yes, how we're not talking about.
No, that pissed me off because his wife was banging herself back and forth, right? Unexplained how she's doing. She's hovering. She keeps hitting her head against the wall. How come the husband just didn't like shield, like put his hand so she's not hitting the wall, or he was just like holding it, but she's still banging her head. Like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just put your hand back there or try and grab her out. Like, I think he was just in shock. Probably he was just.
I would have been scared.
You know what? You're right. You're right. You're right, because I say it like it's a normal everyday thing, right?
I mean, when I saw that part, I thought two things. I was like, wow, that's so wrong. Two, man, you could turn this into a comedy, but
it was borderline Army of Darkness for a second.
Yeah, so I thought I was like, honey, it's okay you didn't cook dinner. I'm fine, and you don't got to go through all this. But,
well, I wonder too, like now that I think about it, it's funny like how you think or how you realize things once you're actually talking about it. Because like it obviously through the boy and through the dog, like it had the ability to like reanimate things. I wonder if it was just it took a hold of her body and she was just a rag doll and just didn't. It was just throwing her.
That's another thing we didn't talk about. The boy when he got hit by the bus, like
that scene
that came out of nowhere too.
Yeah,
as you know me, GR. You know what I hate.
Yes,
animals and children harmed in film, but this worked in the story, so it didn't bother me at all. I was like, holy shit, what the hell just happened?
Yeah,
it reminded you of Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, and that was Walter looking through the window, right? Like when he was telling him, don't drink the water, just get out of here. What happened to Walter? He disappeared too, man. My boy Walter. What happened to Walter?
I mean, what he went through. I mean, shit.
All right.
Well, I felt so bad for him.
I did. He couldn't sleep. Who would? I would have been out of it. I don't know why the hell these people stay in these houses when all this weird shit's going on.
I wish I knew.
All right. Well, let's rate it. Let's Tasha, real quick. 1 to 5. What'd you give this film? Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to add before it? I'm sorry.
I'm going 4.5.
Oh, good.
I really liked it. It was such a unique twist on things. Like I said, character development was on point, and jump scare after jump scare. And I mean, some people aren't a huge fan of those because they tend to be like one and done. But these scares, the way they were done,
they did it right.
They stuck with me.
Yep.
Even like now, just thinking about it, like the hair stands up on my arms.
Albrecht, when she came slowly towards the camera, any other film would have just had her, But this movie had her, like I said, she saw her coming through the door way from far after she got close.
Yeah, everything was just done so well, and it wasn't, a stereotypical paranormal movie at all.
No.
So I was a huge fan.
Awesome. How about you, JR?
Nah, I'm gonna go with the same. It's 4.5. I mean, the first time I watched this movie, I freaking raved over it with you. I remember telling you, you gotta watch this. Remember when I mentioned Tasha?
Because we were supposed to review it a while ago. Yes. That's why we never got to do it.
I remember telling Tasha, like, this movie it makes The Conjuring look like PG-13.
Yeah.
Because this movie doesn't hold back on anything. And I liked it. And the fact that you have to search for the answers of what was going on, which I love that. It wasn't
Yeah.
Everything was thrown in your face. You're still trying to. I mean, you could sit there and I bet you we'll go back and we'll watch this movie a couple more times. This is how good scared movie is. I mean, it was so different paranormal. I enjoyed it so much, and yeah, I highly recommend this movie.
Another nice little part of the film was when Fuentes at the end, when he goes into Alicia's house to burn it down, and he doesn't see her, but we see her. She hung herself.
Yeah.
So he walks right by her and starts, pouring the gasoline. Then he sees her and is like, "Oh, dude, you're late, man."
Yeah. That was actually another one when he thinks he's getting rescued and he goes to get in the car with her and she's got the kid in the back seat.
Oh my god!
And I don't even know how she did that because they were talking about concrete and everything else. So I don't even know how she got this kid.
He was like, he closed that. I'm good. I'm done. I'm out.
I'm out. I'm just.
I love that guy, man. That's everyone's reaction right there. Yeah. I'm 4.52 on this film because I love this movie so much, man. It's the acting, like GR had touched upon, great. Except for that one actor, like I said, not that his acting was bad, but his Spanish was horrible. But I think he was supposed to be an American who spoke Spanish, so it made sense. So that I liked his character too. I liked everybody in this film. So yeah, 4.5 from your boy Ricky Grind. All right, horror fiends. Just like we do with all of our guests, we're gonna ask Tasha what her current top 10 horror films of all time is. Does it got to be in no specific order? Because I know that's a hard deal. Because what this does, it gives us and our viewers get to know you better, what kind of films you're into. So let's hear it.
So the first one on there, it was a no-brainer for me, was The Mist.
Nice.
So when I was younger, I went through a phase where I was into horror, and then because I'm such a chicken, I went years where like I could watch a movie as long as I had somebody else with me. Couldn't watch it on my own, and I just kind of like avoided it. So now that I've been getting back into things, proud to say I've graduated to watching them by myself. But The Mist was one of probably like the first like really emotional one that I watched.
Was rough.
I cried for like I was so shocked.
Yeah.
It leaves an impression.
I'm glad you said it because that's the first time someone's brought up The Mist.
Yes.
I'm surprised I haven't brought it up. I love that film.
Best ending in a horror movie.
Yes. An ending with balls.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm a big Stephen King fan too, so of course there had to be one on there. Next one, I've started getting back into like old school classic ones. The original Nosferatu. I was very pleasantly surprised at how creepy a movie done in like the 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Like how creepy it could be. There were some scenes that kind of had me a little nervous. So I was impressed, and I can definitely see where it influenced, a lot of other films like coming up through.
That's all visuals too. I mean, there's no dialogue in that film.
Like silent film.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which I feel like is kind of more of a challenge to actors. Like you just had to be so over the top and expressive.
Yep. And he's a classic character too. He's still scary to this day. Nosferatu.
Absolutely.
Now that's a vampire.
Right? None of this sparkly stuff.
Nope.
Like real deal, man.
He ain't Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt.
My next one is Unhinged. I know.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Do what?
That's the first one. I've never seen it.
So it's, some people probably wouldn't consider it horror. It's definitely like super intense. I would say like psychological horror about road rage. And I'm a dispatcher for law enforcement. And a lot of the calls that we get are these people just, I mean, you see it in the news all the time now, how crazy people get because somebody cut them off. Like it is the end of the world. It's something personal. And in this one, like it just happens that she pisses off a crazy guy. And, next thing she knows, like her entire life is in shambles and he's like trying to murder everybody. And it's just, it's super intense.
Oh, I gotta where you see it? Where can we see it? I want to see it.
I think it's on Amazon. It's got Russell Crowe in it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, cool.
He's the bad guy and he just nails it. So since I'm used to dealing with that kind of stuff on a daily basis, like it just hits a little special note inside on that one. So.
I'm guilty of a little road rage though. I mean, I don't do nothing crazy, but if someone honks on me like for no reason.
Oh, I mean that drives me nuts. Like
the light just turned.
I call my dad a lot, like when I'm driving somewhere, and he's like, "Why do you always sound so angry?" I'm like, "Because people can't drive."
One time, this old lady pulled up to my dad. We're like at a red light, and she pulls up to him, and she lowers her window, and she yells, "You almost hit me!" Yo, and my dad flipped on her, like, "Oh no!" Like F-bomb after F-bomb, like, "Yo, dad, chill. It's like 90. What are you doing?" He got so mad.
Oh. Yeah, we've definitely gotten.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. Good.
So yeah, I highly recommend it. Terrified made the list. Like
Nice.
I had to add it because it just
GR got happy. Look.
So well done. Paranormal Activity. I saw Blair Witch when I was in like probably 6th or 7th grade, I think. And I don't honestly remember much about watching it the first time, except that it was storming outside and I was watching it at night by myself. So it's more kind of the experience that stuck with me as opposed to the movie itself.
Right.
So Paranormal Activity, I didn't sleep for like 3 days afterwards. The apartment that I was living in at the time, right before the heater would kick on, it made that low rumbling noise that would come up in the movie right before something happened. So like every time I heard the heater kick on, because it was New York in November, like, this is it. This is how I die. It's ending right here. So
that's the one movie that when I left the theater, when I got home, I was afraid of the dark. Like I couldn't sleep. Like I had to like run into my room, jump under the covers real quick, and just not look at anything. I was on edge for some reason. I don't know why, but that movie did affect me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they nailed it with that one for sure. Signs is one for me that's definitely like sentimental.
I wish Joe was here for this one.
I did see like I was it the sadness video that he mentioned it in.
Yeah. Could have.
So they actually filmed part of this like 45 minutes from where I grew up in New York.
Oh, nice.
And the first time I saw it, my dad took us to the drive-in, like surrounded by corn. So it was another one that was like
that one scene when they showed the little alien guy run across the birthday party. That was Signs, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like the foil hats and stuff like cracked me up. So, it covered some bases for me on that one. But just knowing, like, looking at the terrain and everything and being familiar with it, like, it just.
Yeah, I don't like cornfields.
It's home. Me neither, bro. I don't know.
And there's corn everywhere. So, my next one is Dark Skies. There's just.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You didn't see that one yet?
I haven't seen that one yet.
That's an alien film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. That was one that I saw in theaters.
It's good.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so good. Aliens, for some reason. I mean, obviously Signs too.
Aliens could be real. That's what's scary about it. I mean, I believe in that stuff, man. Like we ain't the only people out here, so.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, with as big as this universe is,
yep,
us being the only
right?
intelligent life. That's questionable in some cases, but and there's kind of, I mean, I can't really call it found footage, but like reviewing security camera footage and stuff in there too. And it's another one where you just kind of barely see things here and there, just enough to really get you until the end. 47 meters down, Uncaged.
Which one? Oh, I didn't see that one. We did 47 meters, right?
We did the first one. The second one was in the caves.
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, that's between.
It was good?
Oh, man. Claustrophobia. Like, I'm not crazy claustrophobic, but the feeling that they create with the atmosphere in this one, like being underwater in these caves and being trapped essentially, like, oh, it just makes you so
I'm claustrophobic, and I remember our review for 47 meters. That's the one thing I brought up where I could never be in that situation. Forget I'm claustrophobic and forget I'm scared of the ocean. So that's a double whammy right there.
Checks all the boxes.
Checks all the
one.
boxes, man.
Yeah, and I mean the sharks, because they've been living, completely in the dark, they look different, and
we got okay. They're like no wait, the sharks that they live under in the caves. You're saying so they don't. Oh right, so they're not in the sunlight.
Yeah.
So it changed the sharks. It affected them.
Yeah. So they have this different look to them.
That's different.
Like I said, you already, when you go underwater, you already kind of feel like you're squished a little bit. Like there's water all around you. You're kind of trapped-ish.
Pressure, yeah.
So to be experiencing that in caves, that would make me uncomfortable without water. Like that whole movie, there were a few times I just kind of had to pause it and like give myself a minute to recoup. And and sharks don't usually bother me.
I love shark films. I love sharks in general. Yeah, so I watch any shark film, good or bad, man.
They're not usually that.
I'm trying to get Jared to watch 3-Headed Shark Attack, man. He won't do it though.
I still have to watch Sharknado.
Yeah,
I watched Gray White and I was so disappointed in that movie.
Oh, bro, you trying to get me to watch that?
So mad. I was like, avoid it.
But there's a lot of good ones though. There's a lot of good shark films. Where for every bad one, there's like 3 good ones.
Well, they made the sequel to The Reef, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, it comes out.
Reef was amazing.
Year. It's not like the first one.
Oh, you seen it?
No, I seen the trailer for it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
The Meg.
Meg.
I love Meg.
No, it's kind of a cheesy one, but
Meg. What hurts me that I wish Eli Roth stuck to it, an R-rated version, but
yes,
again, these big studios, man.
Yeah, bringing in the dough.
Damn
it. Another alien one, Color Out of Space.
They haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
We gotta remember we had that.
Yes, we had that on the list.
It's on the schedule.
Yeah, it's really good because I feel like the basic storyline is one that you have seen in a lot of alien movies, but the way they twist it and make it their own is just crazy. It's super eerie. It's definitely one of those where the environment gets you for the whole thing, and you're just kind of like waiting for what's going to happen next. And he's gotten really good at playing these crazy off the wall characters.
He's been on a roll lately with these films, man. And I haven't seen any of them. What's going on with me, man?
He's been. I saw that one the same day that I saw Mandy.
Oh God, that's another one. I wanted to see that.
I saw it.
Man, it's just but he's good at it. So more power to him.
Oh yeah, I've always liked Nick Cage though. People always make fun of him, but I've always loved Nick Cage. Raising Arizona, man.
I just hate him in Ghost Rider, man. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah.
I agree. He wasn't the ideal Johnny Blaze, but
no.
This one I can safely say is my favorite. It's Shaun of the Dead, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it so much. Just the way that it ages so well. Like, as an adult now, like you look at the humor entirely different than you did when you watched it when it first came out. And I just feel like that's real deal zombie apocalypse. Like, we talked about a lot on the live and stuff like that. But I feel like that is how the average Joe is just gonna bumble his way through it. And
what I loved about it, I brought this up in the live stream too, is that the comedy doesn't come from the zombies; it comes from the characters.
Yes,
interacting around them. I love that. If the zombies were made comical, I would have been like, all right, I'm checked out because I don't know. When it comes to zombies, I want them to still be scary.
Yeah,
but this film again, they were. It was just the characters around that were hilarious, man. It's a great film.
And it's still like there's still a couple of scenes where it's like gross and creepy, and they just kind of I feel like horror and comedy is just one of those really difficult lines to walk, but it's
a love letter to Dawn of the Dead too, man. That's like my favorite film there. And like there's homages all over that film, man. Like you're catching them. A lot of British humor too that goes over a lot of people's heads in that movie too. So what you got going on, Tasha? What you got cooking up on your channel?
Oh man.
Also plug your channel too.
Yes. So I'm still I'm still trying to like learn what exactly I do on Voices of the Mausoleum as this co-host thing, other than like show up and be a pretty face. We're definitely getting more into, I know she's got her found footage Fridays coming up with an author friend of ours, Tom. We're gonna start doing that. And then JR, I think she's gonna start doing a collaboration with you on Mondays, right?
Yeah, Monday musings.
Yeah.
Cool.
This might be us like breaking the news. I don't think we've said anything yet. We are going to be recording with the writer and director for The Last Thing Mary Saw. Reached out to him on Twitter and he agreed to do a video with us. So
awesome. That is, we reviewed that film, but we haven't released it yet.
I'm so excited. So it gets released on DVD July 12th. So we're recording in time to be able to release the episode with awesome. the DVD release.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like when he actually responded to me and was like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
That's a good get right there.
So I was super excited. Yeah. So we'll be doing that. I am going to be doing an episode with You Run True Crime Podcast. Like you said, we're going to be going, it's Benoit, right?
Yeah, Chris Benoit.
Okay. I've seen some stuff on, like true crime, like has always been my first love. So I've seen like every documentary under the sun, but he is one that I have not actually seen a ton on.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm really well averse to that story.
Yes.
I'm gonna be digging in. Like I know the basics.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into like conspiracy theories and all that good stuff. So
it's a rough story though. Like a lot of people, it's a tough subject. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an emotional one.
Yeah.
And then I believe it might be tentative, might be confirmed. I don't know. But I may be doing Rec with the horror movie review portion of You Run. So I'm just waiting to see for sure, because we're going to try and do an episode with both me and Angel. She can't do it that weekend, so I think it might just be me, but we'll see. So yeah, like I feel like such a cool kid. Like people ask me if I want to do stuff and I'm like, wait, like you want to talk to me? Like why would you want to do that? So I've been like crazy fangirling over all the invites again. So I totally appreciate you guys asking me if I wanted to come on.
No problem at all. We love talking to people. Yeah, this is one thing what I love about doing the show with JR and Joe is that we connect with a lot of people that share the same passion as us. Yes. And that's awesome, man. We do this for fun, and we just learn from each other. And thank you. We learned a lot from you today. You got a lot of stuff going on though. That's awesome.
You do.
Through my website, I've started doing author interviews and book reviews. So I've got a couple of those up now. And then I have an interview coming out this week with Luther Cross. He's done it at like a 5 Influential with Angel. So I got a ton of responses when I opened that up. So I've got
that's cool. Man.
A lot of reading to do and interview questions to send out and stuff like that. So I'm like throwing myself into it, wait until I can quit my day job and really be able to do it.
No, you got it. And with that being said, let's get the fuck out of here. I am Ricky Grimes. We got Tasha, our special guest, and we got JR. Guys, there goes Journey in the background.
There he goes. At least he waited till the end.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Please like this video, subscribe to Horror Fiend TV, subscribe to Voices from the Mausoleum, and we're gonna have links for everything that Tasha's involved with will be in this video as well in the description. You're welcome. And with that being said, stay scared.